and Nike. Now, these are like deals that premier athletes get, like your Caitlin Clarks, your LeBrons, people like that, and it's rare that you see, Shedeur being a fifth-round quarterback with these type of deals. Now, I must say, Shedeur signed all of these deals, from my understanding, before he was drafted, because no one thought in a million years Shedeur was going to go to the fifth round. Maybe second if they was really hating, but they went unprecedented type hating and made him slide down to the fifth round.
Jimmy Haslam just dropped a bombshell, and the entire NFL is buzzing right now. The Cleveland Browns owner made it crystal clear Shedeur Sanders is the guy moving forward, and the whole coaching search is being built around him. While other teams are scrambling to figure out their quarterback situations, Haslam is telling potential head coaches straight up, get Shedeur ready for 2026 or don't bother interviewing. This isn't speculation. This isn't rumors. This is the Browns owner putting his full weight behind his franchise's future with a fifth-round quarterback. NFL teams across the league are stunned by just how bold this move is.
Several photos, bruh. It say legendary on the back upside down. Now, Deion Sanders, legendary Shedeur Sanders at Nike, posted by Deion Sanders Jr. Shout out to Bucky, the homeboy. So you guys can look in the back there. There's a brown pair right there. These patent leather ones so damn nasty, bro. My God, look at the patent leather ones, bro. These are cold-blooded, man. I mean, hella nice, bro. And then it looked like it's a low-top red pair, but I believe those could be some cleats. Now, Deion Sanders, so here we go. Legendary in the black and legendary.
All right, let me break down what just went down in Cleveland, because this is way bigger than most people realize. About 30 minutes ago, the Browns released an article titled "Browns Quarterback Plans Got Clear." And trust me, it's huge news for Shedeur Sanders. This changes everything about how we view the Browns' future, and I'm not exaggerating one bit. Here's the deal. Jimmy Haslam isn't playing games anymore. He's not being subtle. He's not leaving room for interpretation. The Browns owner has made a firm decision. Shedeur Sanders is the guy, and he could very well be the franchise quarterback moving forward. The entire head coaching search is being structured around this decision, and NFL executives across the league are losing their minds over it. Think about Cleveland's position right now. They just pulled off a blockbuster trade barely 15 minutes into the 2025 NFL Draft. They assembled a 7-player draft class that could rival anyone in the league. 6 of those 7 picks were immediate impact players, starting with defensive tackle Mason Graham at number 5 overall, then linebacker Carson Swearinger at 33, who could very well be Defensive Rookie of the Year. Then they turned their attention to offense and landed 2 instant Day 2 starters in running backs Quinn Judkins and Harold Fannin Jr. But here's where it gets really interesting. They also drafted Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, 2 quarterbacks, 2 styles, 2 futures. And now, with the news that Dante Moore is staying at Oregon for another year, the Browns' quarterback runway just got a lot clearer, and it has Shedeur Sanders' name written all over it. I've been saying this for months. Shedeur is the guy. Cleveland doesn't need to draft another quarterback. They don't need to keep searching. They have their franchise quarterback right there. Now it's all about putting him in the right position to succeed, giving him the right tools, the right teammates, and most importantly, a solid offensive line. Last year's struggles proved just how critical that is. And here's what makes this news even bigger. Jimmy Haslam isn't just hoping Shedeur works out. He's betting the entire franchise on him. Whoever lands the head coaching job is stepping into a high-powered position with a single mission: get Shedeur Sanders ready to dominate for the 2026 season.
Listen. Nike has heavily invested in Shedeur. The brand has promoted him on social media, designed player-exclusive kicks, and leaned into his legendary mantra. During practice and pregame warm-up, Shedeur Sanders has worn Nike DT96 cleats and player-exclusive Browns colorways. He recently revealed the handwritten message on each cleat.
Let me repeat this so it really sinks in.
The Cleveland Browns are interviewing head coaching candidates, and the main qualification isn't scheme fit, past success, or anything else you might expect. The question every candidate is being asked is simple but massive. Can you develop Shedeur Sanders into a franchise quarterback? That's the job. That's the expectation. That's exactly what Jimmy Haslam is demanding. Mary Kay has been all over his story, making headlines with her weekly press updates. And what she's been saying about the quarterback situation is telling. She was asked what makes the Browns' job attractive to potential head coaches, and her answer gives you a perfect snapshot of Cleveland's priorities right now. She talked about how dominant the Browns' defense is, the best in the AFC North, loaded with elite talent. That's a big draw, especially for defensive-minded coaches. Then she got to the quarterback position, which she called vitally important. Here's the key. Cleveland doesn't officially know who their starting QB will be, but they've got Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun, and the number 6 overall pick from the draft. But notice how she mentioned Shedeur first. It wasn't an accident. That was intentional. The Browns are making it crystal clear to every coaching candidate that Shedeur Sanders is the future of this franchise. Mary Kay also emphasized that this is a team that won 11 games not too long ago. Sure, the last 2 years have been rough, but the talent is still there. Last year's rookie class was phenomenal, and the defense is elite. All the pieces are in place, and with Shedeur at quarterback, the future is looking bright. Now here's where it gets even more interesting from a coaching perspective. The Browns are still early in their interview process, talking to multiple candidates. But Mary Kay revealed something huge. They're grilling each candidate specifically on Shedeur. When these coaches sit down with Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Barry, they're not just talking schemes or philosophies. They're being tested on Shedeur. What do you see in him? Can you turn him into a franchise QB? Can you build an offense around him? That's the measure, and it's exactly how Cleveland is approaching 2026.
Being a 5th-round quarterback with these type of deals. Now, I must say, Shedeur signed all of these deals, from my understanding, before he was drafted, because no one thought in a million years Shedeur was going to go to the 5th round. Maybe second if they was really hating, but they went unprecedented type hating and made him slide down to the 5th round. Now, with that being said, we go head on over to Google, man. Check out this article right here, because this is big time news, man, from Sports Illustrated. It says Deion Sanders preview. Shedeur Sanders.
They won't have to stress about drafting another quarterback. They won't have to chase a veteran in free agency. And they definitely won't have to let the Deshaun Watson drama dominate headlines for another year. Cleveland can just build around Shedeur Sanders, see what they've got in 2026, and move forward with a clear, focused plan. And honestly, that's exactly what they should be doing. Think about it for a second. What other option even makes sense for the Browns right now? Are they really going to stick with Deshaun Watson, the guy who's been a disaster for 2 straight seasons? $230 million guaranteed, and yet playing like he forgot how to throw a football. Come on. Or are they going to ride with Dillon Gabriel, the 5th-round pick who barely saw the field this past season? I'm not saying Gabriel can't be good, but when we talk ceiling, arm talent, mental processing speed in the NFL, it's Shedeur Sanders, hands down, no debate. Jimmy Haslam knows this. The Browns know this. That's exactly why their entire coaching search is centered around Shedeur's development. Every candidate is being grilled on him. Every decision is about him. The future of the franchise is being built around a 5th-round quarterback that most teams slept on. And let's be real, that he fell to the 5th round in the first place, that's insane. This kid was supposed to be a top 10 pick, maybe even top 15 if teams weren't overthinking it. But he slipped to the 5th round. Pure disrespect. Unbelievable. The NFL establishment might have been trying to make a statement about Coach Prime's kids, but the Browns said, cool, we'll take him. And now, less than a year later, the entire franchise is being built around Shedeur Sanders. They're telling every head coaching candidate that developing Shedeur isn't just part of the job, it's the most important part.
If you can't get excited about Shedeur, Cleveland isn't the right fit for you. That's a franchise-altering decision. That's betting on talent over politics. That's recognizing greatness when everyone else is blind to it. And here's the beauty of it. Shedeur's already proving the doubters wrong. Look at what he did in limited action this past season. His decision-making, his arm strength, his ability to read defenses. Sure, the offensive line struggled, the play calling was questionable, and the Deshaun Watson situation threw chaos into the QB room. But through all that, Shedeur flashed exactly why Cleveland believed in him enough to draft him. Now, imagine what happens when he's got the right head coach. Imagine a solid offensive line. Imagine a system built to maximize his strengths instead of shoehorning him into Kevin Stefanski's outdated playbook. You're looking at a potential Pro Bowl quarterback, a guy who could lead the Browns back to the playoffs, the face of the franchise for the next decade. Of course, there's controversy. Haters will say he hasn't proven anything, that he's only getting opportunities because of his last name, that Cleveland is making a mistake putting all their eggs in Shedeur's basket. But my question to them is simple. What more does this kid have to do? He dominated at Jackson State. He dominated at Colorado. Elite arm talent, elite processing, elite leadership. He carried teams that had no business competing, and he did it all under pressure and scrutiny that no other college QB has faced in recent memory.
Bruh, these are cold-blooded, bruh. This is my first time seeing these. I ain't never seen these. Damn, do they say legendary on the back? No, but they say, bro, these are, look at the ice blue bottom. Look at the ice blue bottom. Oh, so these are coming out in April. These are coming out in April, bro. These right here are coming out in April, and they got Shedeur logo in there. Now, something that I've been hearing, maybe allegedly, is Shedeur possibly going back to the number 2.
Here. The only reason Shedeur fell to the 5th round, NFL teams overthought it. Politics, narratives, bias, they let all of that cloud their judgment. They saw Deion Sanders' son and decided to punish him for having a famous father. That's not evaluation, that's bias. The Browns, they saw past it. Jimmy Haslam and this organization know talent when they see it. And this move, building their entire franchise around Shedeur Sanders, might be the smartest decision they've made in decades. They're not just getting a quarterback, they're getting a leader, someone who thrives under pressure, makes everyone around him better, and understands the moment. And check this out. The Browns are making Shedeur's development the central piece of their coaching search. They're not just hoping he works out, they're ensuring he works out by hiring a head coach whose primary job is to develop him. That kind of organizational commitment, that's how you turn a franchise around. Think about the message this sends to the rest of the roster. When you tell your team, we're building around Shedeur Sanders, you're giving them clarity, direction, and hope. You're telling them the next few years won't be the same old Browns chaos. Now let's talk AFC North. Joe Burrow and Cincinnati? Incredible. But can he stay healthy? The Ravens just fired John Harbaugh. They're in full chaos. Steelers? Still trying to figure out the quarterback spot after years of mediocrity. That division is wide open. And if Cleveland nails this coaching hire and commits fully to Shedeur, they could dominate the AFC North for the next 5 years. It all comes down to the coach, the domino that has to fall. Jimmy Haslam is making Shedeur's development the #1 priority in that search. No guessing games, no hoping for the best. Cleveland has a plan, and that plan is betting their future on Shedeur Sanders. And let's be honest, Shedeur has what it takes. He's going to prove every doubter wrong. He'll show why he should have been a top 10 pick. The Browns will look like geniuses for believing in him when everyone else passed. Talent wins, and Shedeur has more talent in his pinky finger than half the QBs drafted ahead of him. So here's the question for you. Do you think the Browns are smart for building their coaching search around Shedeur Sanders, or should they keep their options open? Drop your take in the comments. If you think Shedeur is about to shock the world in 2026, type legendary below. If you're hyped to see him lead Cleveland to the playoffs, smash that like button. Hit subscribe so you don't miss a second of the Shedeur Standards era, because it's just getting started, and trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next.